My photo taste is the Pinterest because they are the best.
And some larger sculptures are made from several combined blocks of ice.
Sometimes ice sculptures can be as big as buildings. In several cold countries, artists even build whole hotels from ice and snow. In Kemi, Finland, there is an ice hotel called the Snow Castle. Each year, Wardley helps build the Snow Castle.
Inside the snow castle, the temperature is -5 degrees Celsius. Even the dining tables are made of ice. So you have to wear winter clothes when eating. And you need to wear a hat when sleeping. Jamie Wardley told Spotlight about it.
I go to the ice hotel in the middle of January. We make ice sculptures there. The ice hotel is built every year in January. Then it melts in April. Each year we rebuild it and create a new design. A group of Finnish people make the ice hotel structure. Then we go in and design the inside of the rooms. We finish it beautifully and make sculptures.
The Snow Castle is a large and amazing work of ice. But Wardley's smaller ice sculptures are special too. On that winter day, in the city of Bradford, Wardley created several small sculptures. He used the sculptures to tell a story. The story contained an important message about goodwill and understanding. Each sculpture was a character in his story. They were all animals that live in the cold Arctic. There was a polar bear, an ocean whale, a wolf, and a little white fox.
In Wardley's story, the little white fox travels across the Arctic. He is looking for Santa Claus, a traditional gift giver of the Christmas Eve holiday. As he travels, the little white fox meets the other animals. They are very different from him. They are also very different from each other. The animals warn the little white fox about each other. For example, they tell him to be careful of the polar bear. They say that polar bears like to eat little white foxes. But the little white fox meets the polar bear, and the polar bear is kind to him. He does not eat the fox. Instead, the polar bear gives the little white fox some milk. All of the other animals help the little white fox too. Because of their help, the little white fox is able to finish his travels and find Santa Claus.
Wardley explained why he created the ice sculpture story for the people of Bradford.
It was a story that related to the many cultures of Bradford. We have lots of people from different places in Bradford. The story is about goodwill and understanding. The little fox shows goodwill. He accepts different cultures and different kinds of people.
Ice sculptures are temporary works of art. When the temperature rises, they will melt. But that does not mean that their beauty is lost. The sculptures from that day in Bradford have now melted away. But their message of goodwill, understanding and acceptance remains.
The writer of this program was Katie Blake. The producer was Luke Haley. The voices you heard were from the United States and the United Kingdom. All quotes were adapted for this program and voiced by Spotlight. You can listen to this program again and read it on the internet at www.radioenglish.net. This program is called Jamie Wardley, the Ice Sculptor.
You can also leave your comments on our website, or you can email us at radio@radioenglish.net. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search for Spotlight Radio. We hope you can join us again for the next Spotlight program. Goodbye.
My photo taste is the Pinterest because they are the best. Flick to link, a link to flick.
What I'm doing now, I'm changing my perspective. I'm just viewing a number from another perspective. I can even do this with rhythms, right? I can take a rhythm and play 3 beats at one time in a period of time. And I can play another sound 4 times in that same space. Okay, it sounds kind of boring, but listen to them together. Hey, so I can even make a little hi-hat. Can you hear this? So this is the sound of 4/3. Again, this is as a rhythm. And I can keep doing this and play games with this number. 4/3 is a really great number. I love 4/3. I mean, truly, it's an undervalued number. I mean, so if you take a sphere and look at the volume of the sphere, it's actually 4/3 of some particular cylinder. So 4/3 is in the sphere. It's the volume of the sphere. Okay, so why am I doing all this? Well, I want to talk about what it means to understand something. And what do we mean by understanding something? That's my aim here. And my claim is that you understand something if you have the ability to view it from different perspectives. Let's look at this letter. It's a beautiful R, right? How do you know that? Well, as a matter of fact, you've seen a bunch of R's and you've generalized and abstracted over all these and you found the pattern. So you know that this is an R. So what I'm aiming for here is saying something about how understanding and changing your perspective is linked. And I'm a teacher, and I'm a lecturer, and I can actually use this to teach something, because when I give someone else another story, a metaphor, an analogy, if I tell a story from a different point of view, I enable understanding. I make understanding possible, because you have to generalize over everything you see and hear, and if I give you another perspective, that will become easier for you. Let's do a simple example again. This is 4 and 3. This is 4 triangles. So this is also 4 thirds in a way. Let's just join them together. Now we're going to play a game. We're going to fold it up into a 3-dimensional structure. I love this. This is a square pyramid, okay? And let's just take 2 of them and just put them together. Okay, so this is what is called the octahedron. It's one of the 5 Platonic solids. Now we can quite literally change our perspective, because we can rotate it around one of the axes and view it from different perspectives. And I can change the axis, and then I can view it from another point of view. But it's the same thing, but it looks a little bit different. And I can do it even one more time. And every time I do this, something else appears. So I'm actually learning more about the object when I change my perspective. I can use this as a tool for creating understanding. I can take 2 of these and just put them together like this and see what happens. And it looks a little bit like the octahedron. But have a look at it. If I spin it around like this, what happens? Well, if you take 2 of these, join them together and spin it around, there's your octahedron. Again, a beautiful structure. If you lay it out flat on the floor, this is the octahedron. This is the graph structure of an octahedron. And I can continue doing this. You can draw 3 great circles around the octahedron and you rotate around. So actually 3 great circles is related to the octahedron. And if you take a bicycle pump and just pump it up, you can see that this is also a little bit like the octahedron. Do you see what I'm doing here? I am changing the perspective all the time. So let's now take a step back. And that's actually a metaphor. Stepping back and have a look at what we're doing. I'm playing around with metaphors. I'm playing around with perspectives and analogies. I'm telling one story in different ways. I'm telling stories. I'm making a narrative, and I'm making several narratives. And I think all these things makes understanding possible. I think this actually is the essence of understanding something. And I truly believe this. So this thing about changing your perspective, it's absolutely fundamental for humans. Let's play around with this earth. Let's zoom into the ocean, have a look at the ocean. We can do this with anything. We can take the ocean and view it up close. We can look at the waves. We can go to the beach. We can view the ocean from another perspective. Every time we do this, we learn a little bit more about the ocean. If we go to the shore, we can kind of smell it, right? We can hear the sound of the waves. You can feel the salt on our tongues. So all these are different perspectives. And this is the best one. We can go into the water. We can see the water from the inside. And you know what? This is absolutely essential in mathematics and computer science. If you're able to view a structure from the inside, then you really learn something about it. That's some of the essence of something. So when we do this, and we're taking this journey into the ocean, we use our imagination. And I think this is one level deeper, and it's actually a requirement for changing your perspective. You can do a little game. You can actually imagine that you're sitting there. You can imagine that you're up here and that you're sitting here. You can view yourselves from the outside. That's really a strange thing. You're changing your perspective, you're using your imagination, and you're viewing yourselves from the outside. And that requires imagination. And mathematics and computer science is the most imaginative art forms ever. And this thing about changing perspectives should sound a little bit familiar to you, because we do it every day. And then it's called empathy. When I view the world from your perspective, I have empathy with you. If I really truly understand what the world looks like from your perspective, I am empathetic. That requires imagination. And that is how we obtain understanding. And this is all over mathematics, and this is all over computer science, and there's a really deep connection between empathy and these sciences. So, my conclusion is the following. understanding something really deeply has to do with the ability to change your perspective. So my advice to you is try to change your perspective. You can just study mathematics. It's a wonderful way to train your brain. Changing your perspective makes your mind more flexible. It makes you open to new things, and it makes you able to understand things. And to use yet another metaphor, it's have a mind like water. That's nice. Thank you.
Flick to link, a link to flick. My photo taste is the Pinterest because they are the best.
And some larger sculptures are made from several combined blocks of ice.
Sometimes ice sculptures can be as big as buildings.